You say if your people who are called by your name will humble themselves and pray. You say you will listen, you will hear from above and heal their land. You say if your people who are called by your name will humble themselves and pray. You say you will listen, you will hear from above and heal their land. We cry out to you. We cry out to you. Heal our nation. Heal our nation. Heal our nation. We cry out to you. So shed my so dana Bamuri Baba. You say if your people who are called by your name will earnestly seek your face. You say if they repent, you will never relent till you heal their land. We cry out to you. We cry out to you. Heal our nation, Father. Heal our nation, God. Heal our nation, God. Heal our nation. Restoration today. Restoration. We cry out to you, God. We cry out to you. We cry out to you. Heal this land. Heal this land. Heal this land. Pour a sign of love. Heal our nation. Restore our nation, Father. We call us the prodigals today to come home. Heal our nation, God. We cry out to you. Tochema Bamuri Baba. Todana Bamuri. Todana Bamuri. Restoration. Okay, thank you very much. I just want to acknowledge the singers um, of this music I just finished playing. It's called "Heal Your Nation," "Heal Our Nation" rather. Um, I think the name I'm seeing here is called "Comfort Miami. That sounds like maybe Southern Africa or East Africa or thereabout. Um,
So this is the first time I'm coming across this on YouTube, and I want to acknowledge them. Yes, yes, they capture the essence of tonight's discussion. In our nation, do we actually want to be healed as a nation? That's the question, right? Yes, I want to continue. Well, let me say, I'm Reverend Cyril Okere, and this is the Sentinel, which is the media arm of Citygate Ministries International. Yes, you're welcome. I want to encourage, well, as many of you as joining me, to please interact. Let's make it interactive. Let's dialogue with me. That energizes me. That helps me. But anyway, that said, anytime you're watching this, I say God bless your day, God bless your evening, God bless your whatever time it is. And in Him we live, we move, we have our being. Okay, let me just take a sip of this. Thank you. Right, we want to continue from last week. What we started with last week, which was looking at the death of the mother of Miss Deborah Yakubu Samuel. Somebody said Deborah did not die; she was killed. That is true. Deborah was killed. She did not die. So last week we discussed her gruesome murder at the hands of some insensate Islamic fanatics who don't understand even the tenets of their own religion. Talk less of talking about godliness. And the title we gave that discussion, last week's discussion, was Vandals on the Loose. Vandals on the Loose. Today we want to continue with a different title altogether, which is a longish one, a long one. Say the uncomfortable truths the mother of Deborah reveals. The uncomfortable truth that the murder of Deborah reveals. To clarify that topic, those who have been following the evolution or the how things have evolved or been developing in Nigeria will record that the death of Deborah is not the only unjust killing that has taken place in that country. It's not the only lynching and extrajudicial killings, particularly of Christians, by non-state actors, by rebels, by fanatics, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. It's not the first time we've seen Christians killed, pastors assassinated, uh, Christians beheaded. On the flimsiest of excuses. But there's something peculiar to my mind of the murder of Deborah Yakubu Samuel, the 22-year-old student of Sheikh Gari College of Education in Sokoto State, northwest Nigeria. Something peculiar, something different. I remember, yeah, the woman, I think the Deeper Life, wife of a pastor, who was, I think her name is Gloria, if my memory serves me right. She used to preach early morning preaching, and she was hacked to death. Her body, she was found lying in the pool of her own blood. Again, up to now, no justice. There's another man, I think he was in Kano, who was beheaded and the head displayed publicly by irate youth, brazenly, and no comeuppance, no justice. Of course, we'll not forget instances where some southern newspapers were killed because their hero, who is the current president, was losing the election in 2011. Okay? Most of these people were also Christians. We'll not talk about the killings of Boko Haram, who in some instances, and in fact in a lot of instances, targeted Christians, churches and all that. I know that mosques have been bombed and Muslims have been killed, usually Muslims who are moderate. But according to their late leader, the one that was recently killed, he said that they were targeting Christians. In fact, he said that the only time they would stop was when the former president, Jonathan, if the former president converts or converted to Islam. So the killing of Christians is like a legitimate sport as far as northern Nigeria is concerned. In fact, today or yesterday, I heard that another lady managed to escape lynching in Bauchi State. So what is different in the case of Deborah? That's what I want to kind of highlight. Before then, let me just go to the Bible. Let's take go to the Bible before I begin to look at this, to draw out some of these points. Before then, just to say that this young lady's death raises some spiritual, moral or ethical, and socio-political questions about Nigerian nationhood. Basically, Quo vadis. Quo vadis. As the Latin way of saying, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We are at a critical juncture as a country, Nigeria. How we negotiate this, or which route we take in this bifurcation, will indeed determine whether Nigeria will survive as a United Nation or not. Okay, let's go to the Bible. As I said, I want to read there from Psalm 120. I want to read the whole chapter. It's not long. I'm reading from the New King James Version. It says, in my distress I cried to the Lord, and he heard me. Oh God, hear us. Concerning Nigeria, hear us. In fact, above all, let your will be done. Let your kingdom come. Amen. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given to you, or what shall be done to you, you false tongue? Sharp arrows of the warrior with coals of the broom tree. So it's a juniper tree. Verse 5. Woe is me that I dwell in Meshach, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar. My soul has dwelt too long with one who hates peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Woe is me that I dwell in Meshach, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar. My soul has dwelt long in an environment, in a place, and with the people. I say with one here, I say with people that hate peace. I am for peace. There are some of us in Nigeria who are for peace. Know that without peace, there's no progress. We can't go anywhere. But when we speak, they are for war. As we speak today, I heard sorry about that. I read about some northern elders, the members of the northern elders forum went to court. Basically, they want to say that Igbos should be made to leave Nigeria. Now, I know that there's also agitation by some Igbos to leave, but these people are taking upon themselves to say, look, Igbos should leave Nigeria. And the case is in court. And verdict will be delivered soon. Okay. When we speak, therefore war. Right. So what do we make out of this? Now, as a Christian, like I said before, and I speak as a Christian, I know that this touches on my Igbo identity, or Igbo identity, because the Igbos, most Igbos are Christians. So by association, or by that kind of linkage, the Igbos tend to bear the brunt of crisis in the north. Even with the death of Deborah, what followed after was burning and attacking Igbos, burning down their businesses, you know, in that state and some other parts of the north. But I'm not speaking as an Igbo man, I'm speaking as a Christian, I'm speaking as a servant of God. And God will help me to keep within my mandate as a servant of God. Okay. So this is a lamentation. It's like a plea for relief from bitter fools. When you are locked in with a people, and the average Christians will just want to do their best, live their life in peace, serve God by serving humanity, go to church, contribute to the missions, help to reach out and communicate the gospel with their neighbors, and help the neighbors out. Christians are not perfect, okay, and yeah, just do their best within the limits of their fallibility. No true Christian will go about seeking to kill another human being, even when they disagree with us and we disagree with them. Christians don't preach vengeance. But the Bible says that, like we are told in Romans 13, that the the powers of governance comes from the Lord, and we should respect constituted authority. So rather than seeking vengeance and running amok and trying to attack people who don't agree with us, or people who offend us, if we have any issue, when we feel that our rights have been impinged upon or violated, we do what normal citizens should do. You go to the appropriate institutions, appropriate portals, and lay your complaint and let the law take its course, but not with these people, not with these fanatics who are ready to kill, to maim, to tear down, to burn down, just whimsically. So that's why it says so that in my distress we cry to the Lord, and He heard us. So deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips. They lie. Those who killed Deborah say that that she committed blasphemy, and look at the content of what she said. It is not true. They killed her for nothing. They lied against her and killed her. So we are locked into this same system, this situation. Even when people say, okay, let's divide. Okay, divide. You divide, cut out the east, cut out the west, or whatever, or cut out from the south. What about the Christians up north? Deborah was killed in Sokoto. She was from Niger State. And a lot of Christians in Chibok, in Dapchi, and different places. Most of the adoptions that the Boko Haram and the bandits are doing, they're targeting Christians. Look at Leah Sharipu. Is still, of all the girls kidnapped by the terrorists, she was the only one that was left behind. Not just kept back by the terrorists because she refused to convert, but left behind by the government that negotiated the release of others. That's what Christians have been suffering in Nigeria. So what do we learn? Yes, Deborah had been killed, had been buried, and even the struggle to retrieve her body by the family. They had to pass through the eye of the eye of a needle. So a few lessons we have to learn here, and I touched on some last week, but I want to continue from where I stopped to highlight that there's just in the analysis, in the response of the media, social media, traditional media, TV, radio, whatever, newspaper, I saw what I describe as intellectual dishonesty, where they tend to lump all religions and all faiths together when they are highlighting the notoriety of religion and the adherents of religion. They say, oh yeah, like I hear some people say, yeah, the problem with Nigeria is religion. Yeah, this religion, falling, they say it's falling under the religion of Christianity and Islam. If you remove them, and then everything will be all right. That is false analysis, false premise. I call that intellectual dishonesty because the religion and the people that are in focus on this occasion, like a similar occasions, not Christians, not idol worshippers, is the fanatical Muslims who killed Deborah, who accused her, who boasted that they killed her, and the myriad of people, crowd of people who are protesting in defense of her alleged killers, and the 34 lawyers who volunteered their services to defend them. Of course, every accused person deserves to be duly represented in court. And the professors and doctors and intellectuals and government officials who openly supported her lynching. That is one of the things that's different in this case. Because when other people were killed, there's a pretense of trying to do, who did this? Okay, set up an inquiry, panel of inquiry to investigate the killing. That's a bit of pretense. And you see okay, arrest everybody. There's, this almajuris, But in this case, the people that killed Deborah or that masterminded her death are members of an institution or students of a higher institution of learning where she was a student. People who are lettered, people who are trained to be educators. But not only that, some religious leaders in their public utterances are supporting the gruesome killing of Deborah. Some professors from up north they supported it. Some government officials supported it. At best, they remain ambivalent and tepid, even in their so-called condemnation. The President Muhammadu Buhari's response was tepid is the word. It was neither here or there. very, 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 very non-committal. The police, the DSS, even the military, people who should have come to rescue of this girl, come to the rescue of this girl, they remain spineless, or at least covertly complicit in her death, her mother. So that brings the institutions of state, of state security, like the police, the DSS, the civil defense, all those institutions that are supposed to protect lives and property. The military, that brings them to question. In fact, their complicity, they in fact, the matter as well have taken the stones and stoned and lynched Deborah directly, because their tacit and overt support speaks, louder than anything. Than anything they can say. That is what is special peculiar about this. That people came out and boast that we did it, and people are supporting it, saying we'll kill more if this happens, and one another people not to say anything that will offend Muslims. Now, if anything that will offend Muslims, anything can offend me. Anything can offend anybody. And you can look at me the way I don't like, I'm offended. I can look at anybody, a Muslim, for example, I can carry my Bible and pass by and they're offended. Declaring that Jesus is Lord, they find it offensive. So anything that offends them justifies taking somebody else's life. That's what we hear publicly, and there is no comeuppance. There is no query. They come on TV and say what they will do and what they've done, and nothing happens. So that brings the question of our constitutionality, our ground norm. Are we operating and singing from the same hymn sheet? Are we a nation? Are we even attempting to build a nation of general equality under the law? If not, then we are going nowhere. People have talked about Nigeria Constitution, how contradictory it is. A constitution that is not coherent within itself. On one hand, you're talking about secularity of the Nigerian state. Now, within that, you're talking about Sharia. You're upholding Sharia on one hand. What is that? And that is that's one of the reasons we're seeing what we're seeing. Where some people go and kill people and burn down churches, destroy other people's businesses, because they've been given unfair advantage over of their faiths, and nothing will happen. The government in power defends them. The state security agencies defend them, protect them. The military protects them. Now, I talk about the intellectual dishonesty of the media. Rather than bringing the focus, the spotlight on the faith and the people that are carrying out, that are causing trouble around the nation, they say, all religious are that bland generality. That's a cop out. Intellectual dishonesty. That's one of the problems of Nigeria. You cannot face the truth. Nigeria is allergic to the truth from the top to the bottom. Professors cannot say the truth. And what does that mean? That means then that if professors can't say the truth, professionals cannot say the truth. Students go and cannot say the truth. They lie against somebody and kill them. As a body of people, of students, then that means our education, our PhDs and professorial status and all that has not refined our mind. We've not been refined. Morally, we have not been educated. We are moral and ethical Lilliputians in spite of our academic prowess and what we boast about our professional achievement and academic distinctions. Morally, we are midgets. That's what the Deborah shows. That Nigerian intelligentsia, Nigerian professionals are moral wimps and midgets. You see, churches and their leaders sometimes we misbehave. Sometimes we do things wrong. And when that happens, Nigerian press will not spare. Nigerian lawyers, Nigerian NGOs, they will not spare. They will attack, they will ridicule, they will caricaturize. And rightly so, yes, rightly so. If we mess up and we don't change our ways, by all means, whip us. But is it not fair to expect the same treatment be meted out to others when they mess up too? When people from other faiths like Islam, when Muslims, when they mess up, when imams mess up, when Islamic fanatics, when they do that which is wrong, and those that support them, and government that support them, can we be as bold and brash as we are when it comes to pastors? When pastors misbehave? No, we won't. Cowards. That's another thing that I see in the death of Deborah. That the people should speak out and not speaking out. Yes, some people have spoken out. Even some Muslims have spoken out. Again, last week I pay my respect to those people. But what about others? It's also bring the question of our democracy to question, the issue of our democracy to question. Are we operating a democracy or not? Do we relapse fully back to feudalism, which is actually what we are practicing in guise? But can we admit that, okay, we are feudalists, a feudalist Republic of Nigeria, or feudalist, whatever, government of Nigeria, where rule of law does not matter, where some people are above the law and the majority of people are just their serfs. We cannot operate what we call democracy of rascals. When it comes to election like 2023 coming, where the people that will determine who among the people junketing about, courting our support, the people who elect them, assuming the votes count, excluding the military intervention and for this involvement in carrying, snatching ballot boxes and whatever. Assuming the votes count, the people who will determine who becomes president or who becomes governors and chairman of the local government, they are people who don't think. Like these killers who don't think, people without conscience. They are the ones, some of them are underage. They are the ones to determine who. No wonder we've had disastrous leadership over the years. No wonder. Because our education has not refined us to the point that the critical mass of people who determine the outcome of elections are people who can reflect and think. No, we don't. Like whoever offers whoever. In fact, these people, they don't even need to just tell them go kill, they go and kill, like what the song Fela sang about zombified lot, brainwashed by religion they don't understand. These are the same people who say they are more in number, who counted. Of course, when the government covered the border, like the local border and border between us and the Republic and Cameroon, they opened they left the porous, perennially porous, the borders to Niger, Chad, and northern Cameroon, and other places, so that from there people will they'll filter in through from those countries and participate in the election. And so that's why even when they're worried, when they have people are driven out of their homes, you see have the results returned in multi-millions. That's why Nigeria is where it is. Where do we go from here? So the death of Deborah has just brought some of these issues, brought them into relief, has highlighted some of these contradictions, and then the question is, are we going to face them with truth and integrity, or are we going to play the ostrich and lie and pretend that we are not seeing what is happening? People who have raised issues concerning Nigerian constitution, raised issues concerning Nigerian structure, but those who benefit from this dysfunctionality, this purulence, insist on the status quo, and you think you are going anywhere. I said last week, my faith in the country had not been shaken so as it has been since the death of that young girl. And not just because, as I said before, not because she's the first person, but because of the kind of things we see, the blatant, the flagrant injustice. Not just that, okay, I mentioned the people who are the crowd, like a band of locusts who are rising up in different places supporting her and causing mayhem and destruction. No, not supporting her, supporting the people that kill her. Causing mayhem and destruction in favor of those who killed her. But I mentioned the 30-something lawyers who are, they beat their chest, they are going to defend those alleged culprits. The one that is the worst is that the people who arrested, they are being charged. The state, Sokoto State, I don't know what they call them, whatever the justice system over there, the people who organize the prosecution of criminals. Yeah, they are taking these people to court on the charge of, if I remember the wordings, conspiracy to cause disorder, something like that. Basically for disorderly behavior. That was what they have been charged. And what does that tell you? They didn't know more dimension. As if the person that they killed was not a person, not human. Now that raises the question is that how much does life, or how much is life worth in Nigeria? How much is a human life worth? No wonder they don't send us condolences when Boko Haram or bandits kill people. Oh, they don't. Whereas if one person died in France, or one person is killed in or a soldier is beheaded in UK, that's the world, including our president, will say, oh, we commiserate with people of this state and that country, that country. But in Nigeria, the whole world keep quiet because the life of Nigerians, particularly under this government, doesn't count. So a lady was killed. A young lady was murdered in broad daylight. No. The only couple of people arrested, you say it's disorderly behavior. No mention of a life, innocent blood spilled. And you think God is happy? You think we can make progress as a nation? You think the nation will subsist? The life of Nigerians, but a lot of Christians don't count much in the country. But meanwhile, if you touch their cow, the president will rise, the military will rise, the police will come and arrest you. If you touch their cow, injustice. And they do it with such, they're not even hiding to do it. They do it with such level, just disturbing, level of impunity. And it's like, yes, what can you do? Yeah, what can I do? What can we do? That is why, like the psalmist lament, say, woe is me that I dwell in the midst of such people. When we talk about peace, they talk about war. We reach it out, as the body of Christ, as church, as Christians. You reach out right hand of fellowship and brotherhood. They're thinking of hacking it off. Think of war. It's churches are burned down, businesses are destroyed, Christian businesses, and government does not know nothing. A lot of Christians are in the IDP camps, many in their millions, and their lands occupied by the Fulani, herdsmen, the government is doing nothing about it. It's in support of it. The military is in support of it. So some of the things that we have to interrogate. So that is things we need to question. So, where do we go from here? That's the question again. Where do we go from here? Shall we continue then? Shall they continue to kill with such impunity? And the funny thing is that the people, and listen, presidents can come from anywhere, yeah? But the funny thing is this. The people who say they are born to rule, who insist that they are going to retain power and keep the power in the north, particularly core north. You will ask them to say, okay, you've been you've been in governance, you've been governing well, ruling this country, not govern, or ruling the country. For all these years from independence, where, where, what has your leadership, what good has your leadership produced for the country? Haven't you led us to the very brink? Didn't you tell us that Buhari is the best that the North could offer? Was he not the consensus candidate? You say that's the best. Nobody could help Nigeria except Buhari. That's the way he was marketed. But also your best that you've given us, see where it led us. Now, say let us elect somebody from other side also to see what they can do to kind of help to stay us away from the edge of the precipice. But no, it's a power must remain. You have got the numbers. Numbers we have no numbers, majority of whom had no sense. And even the academics, the so-called learned, and of course we know how you get into university, the quota system, the cutoff, the stupidly low cutoff marks that you are granted to get into unity schools, to get into universities, to get into employment, to get into the army and the military. So you have this majority without commensurate morality. And so you lead the nation. That's why you've driven, like joyriders, driven up to the edge of the precipice. And see, you want to continue. And you brag that yes, you got the numbers. There's no remorse. There's no reflection. There's no conscience. I don't see that. Where have you led us? There's no nothing. No conscience. Just rule, share, take. Like termites and locusts. I pray that what's happening now and the question of this race and the agitation that this has caused and the perturbation all these issues have raised will cause a rethink on the part of the core Islamic north of Nigeria, that they will think and perhaps in humility come down from the higher horses. Those who instituted Sharia in northern across the 12 northern states, begin from Sani Yerima, the one that went to marry bought a 13-year-old girl from Egypt as bride and came out to defend it. And he wants to be president. He had the confidence to say he didn't do anything wrong. He wants to be president over Nigeria. What about the young Christian girl? I forgot her name now. Young girl that was taken from University of Bayelsa, taken there to the north and was kept hostage in the an emir's palace in the north, and government was there. Nothing happened. Nothing happened for several months. You adopted as your bride, as one of the brides of Emir, a young girl. Then she came back pregnant. Government did not interfere because of this contradiction in our constitution. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. If you wake up and smell the coffee, perhaps there's still hope for Nigeria. But if not, because no nation can thrive in injustice, no nation can thrive in unrighteousness. Unrighteousness in Nigeria is too much. Not just about this killing, but also on other levels. People are being killed for ritual purposes to make money in the south, in the north, in the middle belt, everywhere. in the east. And then, okay, what's also happening in the east? The madness that is happening in my own area, my own zone. The sheer stupidity that's happening in the southeast. That my fellow Igbos are culpable of destroying your area because of when you bought in the name of fighting for liberation. In the name of what? I give up. All right, let me leave you here. So I say rest in peace, Deborah Yakubu Samuel. God bless your memory. May God strengthen your family. And may God not let your killers and the killers of other matters in northern Nigeria go scot-free. May God not let the people who supported the killing, who are supporting this killing, directly or indirectly, may God require their blood, your blood, the blood of other people that have been killed. May God fiercely demand their blood from their hands. And those who are also killing for other reasons, armed robbers, whether you're from the southeast, from the northwest, from the southwest, from the south side, from the middle, north central, from the wherever you are, you operate from in Nigeria. You kill people, you kidnap people, you enslave people, you sell people. God will remember you. And I hope you have an answer to give to God. On that, I end tonight's discussion. I remain Reverend Cyril Okere, and you'll be listening to the Sentinel. This is the media arm of Citygate Ministries International. We have some other things we have done before and recorded, and you can find them on our YouTube channel, Citygate TV, Citygate TV. And of course, if you want any information from us, yes, all information about us, you want to know more about us and what we do, you can check out our website as citygateministries.org.uk, and of course you can send us email for any reason, information you want to pass across, or something you want to inquiry you want to make. Yes, you can send us email at info@citygateministries.org.uk. God bless you. Bye bye.